We begin this week's news on Danish-InfoNews TV, bringing you the latest national and international updates from week 30. 3 Danes arrested in 1.7-ton cocaine case. Spanish and Portuguese authorities have cracked down on a Danish drug gang in a case involving an attempt to smuggle nearly 1.7 tons of cocaine. 3 Danish citizens have been arrested, according to DR News, citing a press release from the Spanish authorities. More on this story later in the broadcast. We begin on Sunday. 15-year-old boy dies in traffic accident. A 15-year-old boy lost his life Sunday afternoon in a traffic accident near Gunman, southeast of Aalborg, reports police duty officer René Kortgaard of North Jyderup Police to North Jyske. The boy was riding a scooter when he was hit by a car at an intersection. A traffic inspector has investigated the circumstances. The police are continuing their investigation to determine how the accident occurred. The car driver was uninjured but deeply shaken. The 15-year-old was from the local area and his family has been notified. Police received the emergency call at 14:33. Man killed in shooting in Tingbjerg. No arrests have been made yet. A 32-year-old man was killed in a shooting in Tingbjerg, Copenhagen, confirmed police duty officer Martin Heiberg to TV2. 3 people were shot in total. The 2 others are not in life-threatening condition. Sunday evening, a large police response was reported at Briton in Tingbjerg. Deputy Police Inspector Rune Nielsen told DR that police are in the investigation phase and still do not know the motive. At this point, the police cannot confirm whether the shooting was gang-related. Victims sought help at a hospital. Police received several calls at 18:52 from people who heard gunshots. The 2 wounded individuals, both in their early 20s, went to the hospital on their own to receive treatment. Police do not know yet the relationship between the victims. The suspect is described as tall and slender, wearing a black mask, black gloves, grey trousers, and black hoodie. On today's news, Monday. Police suspect gang link in Tingbjerg shooting. The shooting that killed a 32-year-old man in Tingbjerg on Sunday is suspected to be gang-related, said Police Inspector Tommy Larsen of Copenhagen Police to Ritzau. This assumption is based on the location, method, and the group targeted. Back to the Spanish police. Danish drag gang caught with 1.7 tons of cocaine. Caught red-handed, 3 Danes and 1 Briton arrested according to local media. Spanish and Portuguese authorities arrested 4 individuals believed to be part of Danish gang attempted to smuggle nearly 1.7 tons of cocaine. Photos from the operation shows the arrests, which involved multiple countries through Europol cooperation. The suspects were arrested earlier this summer by Portuguese police on their boat, which was carrying the massive cocaine shipment valued at around 850 million Danish kroner on the Danish market. Spanish authorities only confirmed the arrests last Friday. According to El País, 2 Danes and 1 Briton were arrested aboard the vessel, and the suspected gang leader, a Danish citizen, was arrested in the Spanish resort town of Torremolinos. All 4 are now in custody. Their position on the charges is not known. Under investigation since 2024. The investigation began in March 2024. Police identified several suspects linked to international cocaine smuggling. The group had ties to South American drug cartels. Members were based either in Torremolinos or Denmark. Planning of the smuggling began in early 2025. On May 21, the group sailed to Trinidad and Tobago, where the drugs were loaded onto the boat. Portuguese Navy intercepted the ship on June 14 and arrested 3 crew members more than 700 kilometers from the Azores island of Flores. Meanwhile, Spanish police raided 2 locations in Torremolinos, seizing 63,000 euros in cash and various items. One suspect is still at large and wanted on an international arrest warrant. Several countries, including Denmark's National Unit for Special Crime, NSK, supported the investigation. NSK declined comment, referring questions to the Spanish police. Other stories: father charged after barricading himself with 6 children. A 49-year-old man is charged with barricading himself in a Brønshøj apartment with his 6 children after assaulting and threatening a 41-year-old woman. Police negotiators spent a day trying to resolve the situation peacefully, but the police SWAT team ultimately overpowered the man. Danish citizen detained in Sri Lanka. A Danish citizen has been detained in Sri Lanka. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs confirms to Ritzau. Local media, including the Morning report, that a 23-year-old Danish woman was arrested at Copenhagen airport on July 16 for attempting to smuggle cannabis. Shooter still at large after Tingbjerg killing. Copenhagen police confirmed that no one has been arrested after a 32-year-old man was shot dead and 2 others injured in Tingbjerg on Sunday. The suspect is described as tall and slender, wearing a black mask, black gloves, grey trousers, and a black hoodie. Police have not confirmed whether the shooting was gang-related. 45-year-old dies after head-on collision. A 45-year-old man has died after a head-on crash Sunday in Djursland. The other driver, a 78-year-old man, was not seriously injured, according to East Jutland police. Drowning victim identified. The man who was drowned while swimming off a beach in Frederikshavn on Saturday has been identified, according to North Jutland police. There are no signs of foul play. The next of kin have been notified. Man breaks back in DUI crash. A person is charged with drunken driving after a minibus drove straight through a roundabout in Jyderup, says Central and West Zealand police. One passenger broke his back and was flown to Rigshospitalet for treatment. Debris across E45 after a solo crash. A solo crash on the northbound E45 between Vejle and Aarhus has scattered small debris across all lanes. The left lane is blocked, and the road directorate urges drivers to slow down. Central and Western Jutland overrepresented in DUI deaths. New data from the Danish Road Safety Council showed 21% of the 144 DUI deaths from 2020 to 2024 occurred in Central and Western Jutland. The Council attributes this to longer travel distances and higher speeds in rural areas, along with limited availability of night buses and trains. Warning: toxic algae in lake. Silkeborg municipality advises against swimming in Lungsø due to large amount of blue-green algae, which poses a risk of skin irritation and poisoning. Children, dogs, and other animals should avoid drinking the water. Woman stole ladder and drove through town. A 55-year-old woman stole a telescope ladder and drove it through downtown Store on Sunday evening, reports Central and West Jutland police. She resisted arrest and was subdued with pepper spray. She is charged with unauthorized use of vehicle and drug driving. A 32-year-old shot with air rifle. A 32-year-old man was shot in the neck with a pellet gun early Monday in Grestel, says North Zealand police. He is in a stable condition. A 30-year-old man has been arrested and charged with aggravated assault. Police wrap up crime scene work in Tingbjerg. Police have completed the investigation and left the crime scene in Tingbjerg, where a 32-year-old man was fatally shot Sunday evening. 2 others were injured, 1 remains hospitalized. No trains are running between Copenhagen Central and Rungsted's coast due to an overhead wire fault, says DSB. Update. The man has been identified and his family notified. Police were initially seeking relatives of middle-aged man who drowned at Frederikshavn beach on Saturday, likely after a medical emergency. They welcomed any tips via phone 114. On business, more Danes taking out mortgages. New figures from industry group Finance Denmark show growing interest in home buying. In second quarter of this year, 14,000 new mortgage loans were issued, a 34% increase compared to last year. 9 out of 10 municipalities saw more mortgage activity this year than last. That concludes the news so far this week on Danish-InfoNews TV. These are the major headlines from the beginning of this week. For more updates as they unfold, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. Thank you for watching.